Hey, how's it going, everybody? So we have a few updates to the ninja stuff that I wanted to cover before it changes again, or if this is where it stays, then you can start to plan around that. We'll look at the heroes in just a second. There are changes to just about every hero. Some of them good, some of them not so good. So we'll look at that in a second. But first, I wanted to show you one different element to the actual stages. And it is that they have added a stage preview, which is pretty minor, but you can see what the bosses and mobs will be. The main thing are these deadly chamber effects. These are a lot like the battle modifiers that you see in Season 2, or the, what do they call them? The realm ailments. You know, each realm has its own thing going on that can happen, like when an enemy dies, then all the rest gain a minion, something like that. So in this case, it's looking like we have a poison mist type situation of toxic vapor. The duration not the duration, but the amount changes as you get further along in the stages. Erratic time, all status effects cast by heroes are X turns shorter than normal. Looks like he wrote normally by accident. They will always last at least one turn. So all status effects cast by heroes are X turns shorter than normal. Okay, fragile floor. The number of items you can bring into this battle is less than normal per item. This is I'm an editor by day, so I get caught up on things like this sometimes. Okay, you can always bring at least one item. So that's interesting. And you can see they move in this pattern throughout. So something to make it trickier, which is kind of intense. So I'll let you look at this for a second. 3 times less each of an item. So those are pretty significant. 100 damage every 3 turns is like about twice as strong as the poison mist is, I think. But the other part that is added to this is the Oni curses, which is that, where was it? Right here. They appear at random and must be destroyed within 2 turns. So being expected to match any tile on the board within 2 turns is crazy. And you can only be cursed 3 times before. So now, like, as if that wasn't hard enough already, this is kind of like the cousin of Tavern of Legends, in that now there's another parameter that's pulling your heroes out of circulation permanently, but they're also adding these other interesting battle modifiers. So feel free to scroll back through this and be sure to leave a comment if there's anything you think that I didn't cover with how this stuff is going to work. And let's look at what has happened to the heroes. So every single legendary hero has undergone a change. I should have mentioned too that the troops have changed. They've bumped the numbers up by 2% each. So I think collectively the numbers were already higher. If you add a level 30 mono troop up, the number would have been 2 points lower than what it would have been with these troops. So they were already skewed to be more attack than defense, but they had more points total, more percentage points in use than the regular mono troops did, and now they've added another 4 points to that, with 2 more on attack, 2 more on defense, but they've gotten rid of the mono boost and just made it a chance to bypass. And so that means that if these progress the same as the mono troops do, you're going to have to get it to level 29 just to get a 15% chance to bypass, which to me doesn't seem that great. I saw comments being like, oh, I'm going to quit the game because this is just another thing you have to be competitive. And like, while it's true that people will spend tons of money to level these up as fast as possible just for the, 6% damage gain that you'll get from it, but you're losing the mana boost as well, which is huge. Because in this case, I think you really win with special skills and not tile damage, unless you're talking about Titans, but even still, the bypass doesn't really come into play there. So I'm just a little surprised that it's only 15%, because that seems far less valuable than a 15% mono boost when you think about how much more powerful special skills are versus just regular tiles. So I guess that means the chance to bypass means that special skills also have the chance to bypass. And hopefully this is additive with other chances to bypass. Like I think Tyr has a 60% chance to bypass. So hopefully this would bring him up to 75. And this is just something they've brought in with the ninja heroes in general. So I guess it's hard to say how it's going to work yet. It's hard to say if this is where it's going to land. But I just wanted to make you aware of what is happening. So where are the heroes? That's weird. Must have clicked on the wrong thing. Okay, so, but I did want to cover that too. Okay, if we look at all the 5 stars, they have all changed. Not in huge ways though. They've all gotten stat boosts. So this is another 24 points to attack and another 18 points to defense. So who doesn't want that? Here, they've tweaked it again and again. So they went way up with attack and then backed it off a little bit. So it's kind of in the middle of where it was before, pretty much. Gave a boost to HP, so they've lowered the damage. This is kind of a weird change where they've raised the attack but lowered the damage percentage. So we'll come back to this one at the end. So what color is this? This is blue. They did something interesting to the blue 4-star that I think would be really good if they did here, and I don't know why they wouldn't have that consistency across heroes, because at this, 5 stars are always better because their stats are stronger and whatnot, but at this point the 4-star has a much more desirable ability than the 5-star does, and that should never be the case. So let's keep going down the list. Another stat boost here. So the only one that they have changed the special skill of is the red hero, and I think it was probably warranted. This was the best in my opinion. Still got a stat boost, which is nice. This is one of those weird support heroes where they've given them a high attack, like kind of light sniper stats for some reason. So all that they changed was they lowered the immunity to status ailments by 1 turn on each level, which I think is fair. It was kind of crazy that you'd only have to get 5 tiles to heal for 220. That could be saved as bonus HP and be immune to ailments for 3 turns. It's just like a super Grazul, faster than Grazul, longer immunity, and a much more valuable heal. I don't know if her 15% is more than this 220 would have been, but the fact that this can save as temporary HP is just way more valuable. So I think this hero is still strong, still only 5 tiles to heal by 200 and have immunity for 2 turns, so it's kind of still a better Grazul, but a way better Grazul when you keep in mind that you can, if you have a really good red board, not only can you add HP, this is kind of like the same thing of adding extra HP, but it's like you can add extra to your special skill with more tiles. So the fact that this hero has that flexibility to not only fire at 1 speed, but is a multi-speed hero is really strong. Because then you, at average speed, so the 2 times mono charge is average speed, which means with a level 23 troop, you can get this up to 9 tiles, which is essentially fast speed. And then you're healing by 400. I forget what Heimdall's is, but keep in mind he's slow, and this would be essentially fast with the right troop. And you have immunity to ailments for 3 turns. So still really, really strong. Stat boost here. This is the one I wanted to look at. It's not blue, it's purple. Okay, so this is like a mini Cage. Dispels buffs before hitting. I think Cage is the only hero that does this currently. And they have, you can see they changed the order. The red is what it was before. So I think that's a really smart and a really cool change. And the fact that at average speed, you have a 3-target dispel, or at super slow speed, you can dispel buffs from everyone and deal 300 to everyone. So I don't know how often you'd use that, but if you have a really great board, it just means this hero is even better than they normally would be, which is awesome. So I want to see them do this same change with the blue hero in 5-star. I don't know if it would make them too strong, but that would be a nice addition. I think just a stat boost here. So those haven't changed. And the last one I'll go into detail on. This hero, people were like, oh my god, finally a red cleanser. But just this hero is just plain and simple worse than Regard. So the first mana charge, granted, is a little less than 5 tiles. So that's 400 HP over 3 turns and only dispels from the caster. So not that useful. You just get kind of a, if you think that Costume Regard is a much more attainable 4-star, I think these are only like 5%. It might be close now that the pool's gotten bigger. I'm not really sure. But he heals for over 600 for everyone. He has a 48% attack boost, and he cleanses at this, essentially the 2 times speed, even though with only a level 5 troop, then he's functionally fast, whereas you would need a level 23 troop here to get the same speed. So if we compare it in the middle, the heal is weaker than Regards, and the cleanse is only for caster and nearby allies, and there's no attack boost. So just plain and simply worse. If you really want to save it up and charge 15 tiles of reds, then you can finally get a strong heal, and a very strong heal. I shouldn't undersell that. A very strong heal, but it should be at 15 tiles. And then finally a full team cleanse, which is just crazy. Like, keep in mind, this is slower than even very slow heroes. This is 15 tiles to charge. So yes, it's red. I guess if you use mono, then you can't use a costume. You can't use a costume Regard on every team. But I honestly don't see the benefit of this. In my opinion, this hero sucks. Like, it's cool to have some of this, and maybe I'm being harsh by saying that, but to see it just tuned worse than another 4-star hero is just like not interested. So that's what has happened. It looks like, oh, the ninja family has changed. All right, that's fair. Those were pretty overpowered, if you ask me. So now we have a 10% chance to dodge normal attacks and special skills. So applying to both is awesome still. 10% chance to counterattack with 60% or 90% of the damage received, 5 to 10%, whether you have 2 or 3 of these heroes. So for most people, you're going to have maybe 2 of these. So they just made it less overpowered if you have 3 of them on your team. So if you have 2, then you have 5% chance to dodge, 5% chance to counterattack with 60%. Like, all right, that's cool. Before it was like super strong, where you had with 3 of these heroes, a 15% chance to counterattack with 115% damage. That's just like, you got to be scared sniping these ninjas. So they brought that out of the overpowered range. So anyways, let me know what you think of these changes in the comments down below. If you think these heroes are worth summoning for. Looking at the percentages from memory, I think it's 1% for a 5-star, which is going to be shared between the 5. So you have a 0.2% chance, about twice as likely as getting Mysterio, who I think is the rarest hero in the game, and a 5.7% chance, I think, to get one of the... Well, they only did 4 stars, didn't they? Where the shell? Or only 3. No, there's only 3 4 stars. So you have a little less than 2% chance for those, which is for a particular one. You have 5.7 just to get any one of them. But if you wanted one particular one, you have a worse chance. So let me know what you think of all this stuff in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.